A dark, rainy night. Cold wind howls through the empty streets. A young man, Ryan, 24, drenched from head to toe, pedals his worn-out bicycle through the storm. His eyes are tired, hollow, like a man carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. A weak whimper stops him in his tracks. He turns. A frail, starving stray dog shivers in the shadows, barely clinging to life. They say life is unfair. For some, it's just a phrase. For Ryan, it was a reality he lived every single day. But that night, that one moment in the rain, changed everything. A single whimper, a set of pleading eyes, and a heart that had been frozen for years, starting to melt. Ryan stares at the trembling dog. Something inside him cracks, something he had long buried. He kneels down, hesitant, as the dog lifts its weak eyes toward him. And in that instant, a bond is formed. On a rainy evening, the city bustles, indifferent to Ryan's struggles. His bicycle tires splash through puddles as he weaves through traffic, a heavy delivery bag strapped to his back. Ryan had never known what it felt like to belong. Orphaned at a young age, shuffled from one shelter to another, he had learned that love was fleeting and kindness was rare. Now at 24, he was still fighting, working endless shifts as a delivery boy just to keep himself afloat. The rain soaked his clothes, the cold bit into his skin, but none of it compared to the ache of loneliness that had followed him his whole life. His tired hands gripping the handlebars, his shoes full of holes, his clothes damp from the rain. He reaches a small restaurant, picks up an order, and heads back out. He was exhausted, hungry, but stopping wasn't an option. The bills were piling up, his landlord had already threatened eviction, and his fridge held nothing but an old carton of milk past its expiration date. As he rides, brief flashes of his life, past due bills stacked on a table, an eviction notice on his tiny apartment's door, his stomach growling as he opens his empty fridge. Ryan stops outside a house, ringing the doorbell. As he waits, a soft whimper reaches his ears. He turns and sees it, a frail, scruffy dog curled up in the corner of the porch, shivering from the cold. Forgotten. The sound of suffering alone. Ryan kneels down slowly. The dog, weak yet hopeful, lifts its head. Its eyes, sunken but gentle, meet Ryan's, a silent plea. Ryan whispering, "Hey there, buddy. You okay? You look like you haven't eaten in days." The dog doesn't move, as if afraid any motion might scare away this rare moment of kindness. He should have walked away. He had his own struggles, his own battles. He couldn't afford to take on anyone else's pain. But looking into those eyes, it was like looking into a mirror. Ryan hesitates. He barely has enough for himself. But something about the dog tugs at him. With a sigh, he reaches into his delivery bag, pulling out a piece of bread. The dog hungrily devours it, tail wagging faintly. The door opens. A customer, frowning, takes the order and eyes the stray with disgust. A random customer. "Damn strays, they're everywhere these days. Someone should get rid of them." Ryan clenches his jaw but says nothing. The door slams shut. He looks down at the dog, who cowers slightly. Ryan softly, "Don't listen to them. You deserve kindness." He gives the dog one last look before pedaling away, but his heart is heavy. The next evening, same spot. Ryan rides by, then stops. He looks around. The dog is still there, waiting. A small smile tugs at Ryan's lips. He reaches into his bag, pulling out another small piece of food. The dog takes it, eyes shining with gratitude. Ryan chuckling, "I guess you've adopted me, huh? Maybe I should give you a name. How about Lucas?" Lucas lets out a weak but happy bark. Ryan laughs. He didn't know why he kept coming back. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was loneliness. Or maybe, just maybe, for the first time in his life, he wanted to be needed. Night after night, Ryan keeps coming back, sneaking bits of his own dinner to feed Lucas. The dog grows stronger, tail wagging every time he sees Ryan. It becomes a ritual, one that neither of them ever wants to end. One evening, Ryan arrives at the usual spot, but Lucas is gone. His heart pounds. He drops his bike, scanning the streets, calling out, "Lucas! Lucas, where are you?" He had told himself he wouldn't get attached. He had told himself this was temporary, but now as the empty streets stretched before him, the thought of losing Lucas felt unbearable. He runs through the rain, fear gripping him. After what feels like forever, a faint, painful bark cuts through the night. Ryan sprints toward the sound. He finds Lucas limping, a deep gash on his paw, his once bright eyes now clouded with pain. Ryan kneels, hands trembling as he lifts the injured dog into his arms. Ryan, voice breaking, "I won't let anything happen to you. I promise." Ryan cradles Lucas, tears mixing with the rain. He had nothing. No savings, no security, no one waiting for him at home. But at that moment, he had a purpose. He had Lucas, and he would do whatever it took to keep him safe. Ryan sprints through the rain, clutching Lucas in his arms. His heart hammers as he glances down at the injured dog, whose breathing is shallow. Rainwater mixes with the blood seeping from Lucas's paw, staining Ryan's already worn-out jacket. Thunder rumbles in the distance, matching the storm raging inside him. For the first time in years, Ryan felt fear. Not for himself, but for the fragile life in his arms. He had lost everything before. He refused to lose Lucas. Not now. Not ever. He reaches his tiny apartment, fumbling with the key. His hands are shaking, his breath ragged. The door swings open, and he rushes inside, placing Lucas gently on a worn-out blanket on the floor. He grabs an old towel, carefully dabbing at the wound, his fingers trembling as he does. Ryan's voice shaking. "Stay with me, buddy. Please." Lucas whimpers, licking Ryan's trembling hand. Even in pain, his tail wags faintly, as if trying to reassure him. Ryan swallows the lump in his throat, blinking back tears. Ryan had no money for a vet, no medicine, no one to call for help. But he had determination, and sometimes that was enough. Ryan searches through his small kitchen, his mind racing. He pulls out an old first aid kit, its contents sparse and nearly expired. He tears up an old t-shirt, wrapping it gently around Lucas's paw, doing his best to stop the bleeding. Ryan whispering, "This isn't much, but it'll do for now." He places a bowl of water in front of Lucas, who weakly laps at it. Ryan exhales, sitting beside him, exhaustion weighing on him like a heavy chain. He runs a hand through his damp hair, staring at the ceiling, wondering how things got so bad so fast. Ryan had spent years struggling alone. Now, for the first time, he had someone who needed him, and he wasn't going to fail him. The next morning, Ryan wakes up to find Lucas curled up beside him, still weak but awake. His tail thumps faintly against the floor. Relief washes over Ryan, but reality sets in quickly. He has no food left. Ryan checks his pockets. A few crumpled bills. Not enough for rent, barely enough for a meal. He had gone hungry before. It was nothing new. But now the choice wasn't just about himself. It was about Lucas. Ryan walks into a small grocery store. He stares at the shelves, his stomach growling at the sight of food. He reaches for a loaf of bread, then hesitates. His gaze shifts to a small can of dog food. His fingers tighten around the bread for a moment before he exhales sharply and puts it back. A moment later, he's at the checkout, handing over the last of his money for the dog food. The cashier barely glances at him, but Ryan feels the weight of his decision heavy on his chest. Ryan pours the food into a bowl. Lucas, still weak, sniffs it before wagging his tail and eating. Ryan watches, smiling faintly, ignoring the hunger gnawing at his own stomach. Ryan, chuckling softly, "Eat up, buddy. You need it more than I do." Lucas looks up at him with grateful eyes. In that moment, Ryan realizes, Lucas isn't just a stray anymore. He's family. That night, Ryan returns from another exhausting shift, his body aching. He opens his apartment door, then freezes. His landlord stands in the doorway, arms crossed, eyes cold. Landlord: "Ryan, you're 2 weeks behind on rent. I can't keep letting this slide." Ryan swallows hard, gripping the doorframe. He glances at Lucas, curled up in the corner, ears flattened as if sensing the tension. Ryan pleading, "Just a little more time. Please, I'll have the money soon." Landlord: "You have 3 days. After that, you're out." The door slams shut. Ryan stands there, the weight of the world crushing him. He looks at Lucas, who slowly rises to his feet and limps toward him, pressing his head against Ryan's leg as if trying to comfort him. Ryan had fought battles his whole life, but this time, he wasn't just fighting for himself. He was fighting for Lucas too, and he was running out of time. Ryan sits on his worn-out couch, his head in his hands. The dim light flickers above him. Lucas rests beside him, his injured paw bandaged but still weak. Ryan stares at the eviction notice in his trembling hands. 3 days. That's all he had left. Some fights in life come with a warning. Others hit you when you least expect them. Ryan had always lived one step ahead of disaster, but this time, it had caught up to him, and he wasn't sure how to escape. Ryan glances at Lucas, who slowly lifts his head and licks Ryan's wrist. The simple gesture sends a surge of determination through him. He couldn't fail. Not now. Ryan picks up his phone and starts searching frantically. Part-time jobs, loan offers, anything that could buy him more time. But the numbers don't add up. The desperation in his chest tightens like a vice. A man without hope is a man already lost. But Ryan wasn't alone. He had Lucas, and somehow that gave him just enough strength to keep fighting. Ryan rushes into a local pawn shop, gripping his old battered watch, the only thing of value he owns. He places it on the counter, heart pounding. Ryan, how much can I get for this? The shop owner eyes it, unimpressed. He tosses out a number so low it makes Ryan's stomach drop. But he has no choice. He takes the cash and runs. Ryan buys more dog food and a single meal for himself. As he walks home, the city lights blur through his exhaustion. His feet ache, his heart even more. He has never felt this lost. He had sacrificed before. He had given up comfort, pride, even dignity. But now he wasn't just fighting for survival. He was fighting for something bigger than himself. And that made every sacrifice worth it. Ryan steps inside his apartment. Lucas perks up, wagging his tail despite the pain. Ryan kneels down and strokes his fur, his exhaustion momentarily forgotten. Ryan softly, "We're okay for now, buddy." Just for now. Lucas nuzzles against him, his warm brown eyes full of trust. That trust breaks something inside Ryan. He feels the weight of the world, yet somehow Lucas makes it bearable. The next day, Ryan heads to work, his mind clouded with worry. Just as he loads his delivery bike, his manager approaches. "Manager, hey Ryan, a customer called about you." Ryan tenses, fearing the worst. But then the manager smirks. "Manager, said you helped her out the other night. She left a tip for you." Ryan blinks in shock as his manager hands him an envelope. Inside is more money than he's seen in weeks. Testing people, pushing them to their limits, then, just sometimes, offering a hand to pull them back. Ryan grips the money tightly. It's not enough to change his life, but it's enough to give him a chance. And right now, a chance is all he needs. Ryan rushes home, a spark of hope igniting inside him. But as he reaches his apartment, his stomach twists. His landlord is waiting outside, arms crossed. "Landlord, time's up, Ryan. I need the full rent." Ryan swallows hard, hands shaking. He pulls out the money, barely enough to cover a portion of what he owes. Ryan pleading, "Please, just give me more time. I'm working. I'll have the rest soon." The landlord sighs, eyes cold. "Landlord, business is business. You're out by tomorrow." Ryan clenches his fists. He looks down at Lucas, who watches him with trusting eyes, unaware of the storm about to hit them. In that moment, Ryan realized something. Life wasn't fair. It never had been. But fair or not, he wasn't going to let it take away the one thing that had ever truly mattered to him. Ryan grips Lucas's leash, jaw tight, mind racing. They had nowhere to go, no safety net, no backup plan. When the world turned its back, when every door slammed shut, when hope seemed like nothing more than a distant dream, that's when you had to fight the hardest. Ryan looks down at Lucas, running a hand through his fur. He takes a deep breath and whispers, "Ryan, we'll figure it out, buddy. I promise." Ryan paces in his tiny apartment, his mind racing. 3 days. That was all the time he had left before he and Lucas would be out on the street. He clenches his fists, staring at the fragile dog curled up on his blanket, still weak but trusting. Ryan couldn't fail him. He wouldn't. Desperation has a way of making a man fearless. When you have nothing left to lose, you start looking for miracles in the unlikeliest of places. And Ryan? He was ready to search the entire world if it meant keeping Lucas safe. But the world had never been kind to dreamers. It had never handed him anything without a fight. And this time, the stakes were higher than ever. He pulls out his phone, scrolling through job listings, but nothing pays quickly enough. His stomach growls, but he ignores it. His hunger, nothing compared to the crushing weight of failure pressing against his chest. Ryan grabs his delivery bag and rushes out, determined to take on as many orders as he can. He pedals faster than ever, weaving through traffic, heart pounding. The city blurs past him, but his mind stays locked on one thing: survival. Each pedal stroke was more than just movement. It was a prayer, a desperate plea to the universe to grant him one more chance. His legs ached, his vision blurred from exhaustion, but he kept pushing, because he wasn't just fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for the only soul in this world who had never abandoned him. Ryan stops at a fancy apartment complex to drop off an order. As he hands the package to a well-dressed man, Lucas's face flashes in his mind. Maybe, just maybe, this man would understand. Ryan hesitantly, "Sir, do you happen to know any vets? My dog, he's sick and I can't afford treatment, but I can work. I'll do anything, please." The man looks at Ryan, then down at his worn-out shoes and rain-soaked jacket. For a moment, silence stretches between them. "Wealthy man, bring him to Maplewood Vet tomorrow. Tell them Mr. Dawson sent you." Ryan's breath catches. Hope, a lifeline. "Ryan," voice shaking, "I don't know how to thank you. Mr. Dawson, just take care of your dog." Ryan bows his head, gripping his handlebars with renewed determination. Maybe kindness wasn't dead after all. In a world that had shown him nothing but cruelty, a single act of kindness felt like a miracle. But miracles were fragile things, easily lost if not held on to tightly, and Ryan was determined not to let this one slip away. The next morning, Ryan gently lifts Lucas, his body frail, but his tail wagging. As they reach the vet, Ryan feels a knot tighten in his chest. A nurse greets him, leading Lucas inside for an examination. Ryan watches through the glass, his heart hammering in his chest. He had done all he could. Now, it was out of his hands. The vet walks out, holding a clipboard. His expression is unreadable. "Vet, your dog is stronger than he looks. With proper care, he'll recover. But the treatment will take weeks." Ryan's throat tightens. Weeks. He doesn't have a home, barely has enough for food. How will he manage? Ryan whispering, "I just want what's best for him. If I can't take care of him, will he be okay here?" The vet looks at Ryan for a long moment, then nods. "Vet, he'll be safe. We'll find him a good home." Ryan's hands tremble as he kneels beside Lucas, who licks his face, sensing his pain. The hardest choices are the ones made out of love. And love, real love, meant putting someone else's happiness above your own. Ryan had never had anyone choose him before, but for the first time, he had the power to choose someone else. A single tear slips down Ryan's cheek as he presses his forehead against Lucas's. Ryan, voice breaking, "I'll come back for you. I promise." As he walks away, he doesn't look back. If he does, he might not be able to leave at all. Weeks pass. Ryan sleeps on benches, takes on every delivery possible, saving every penny. The hunger, the exhaustion, the loneliness, they're nothing compared to the empty space beside him where Lucas used to be. One evening, as he finishes a delivery, his phone buzzes. It's an unknown number. He hesitates, then answers. Nurse, excited. "Ryan, are you sitting down? Lucas is waiting for you." Ryan freezes. His heart stops. Then, without thinking, he drops everything and runs. He bursts into the clinic, breathless. And there, standing on wobbling legs but with his tail wagging furiously, is Lucas. Stronger, healthier, alive. Ryan, choking back sobs. Lucas! Lucas barks, leaping into his arms, covering his face with licks. Ryan laughs and cries, holding him tight, never wanting to let go again. Vet smiling. Mr. Dawson covered the bill, and he's looking for a full-time assistant at his company. Ryan blinks, unable to believe his ears. A job, a future, a chance. Life had taken everything from Ryan, but in the end it gave him back something even greater. A home, a purpose, and a friend who never stopped believing in him. Because in this world, love isn't just about who you save. Sometimes it's about who saves you. Ryan walks out of the clinic, Lucas trotting beside him. Together they face the world. This time, not as a stray and a struggling boy, but as family.